Welcome back to the Eight Figure Dentist podcast. This is episode number 40. So today's episode is inspired by a recent conversation that I had with one of the Eight Figure Dentist team members. So we are growing, and so I am hiring more team members on board to help me manage the demand of the brand. And I was talking to somebody recently who asked me, who's new to my world, and asked me, so what is your business? What is the name of your business? What do you do? And when I was explaining to her how I became a business mentor and that I am a dentist myself, it dawned on me that some of you are new to my world and you don't know much about me. You don't know my story, and you may be wondering, why is she teaching how to build a boutique practice? What does she know about this topic? And so I thought that would be a great podcast episode to share you guys a little bit about how did I learn what I teach? How did I learn the positioning and the premium buyer psychology, which are the main pillars of what I teach practice owners, and how to implement so that you can have the low volume fee for service practice. So I am a dentist just like you are. I am a board certified orthodontist, and I have been one for almost 10 years and a dentist for 15. And I am actively practicing here in Nashville, Tennessee. But about at the end of pandemic, around 2022, I decided to start a coaching business. Side note, 7 years prior to that, in 2018, I got certified as a coach through the Life Coach School for various reasons. And I just did it for myself. I just wanted to learn more about coaching. I loved coaching. I saw the impacts that it created in my life and the ripple effects on other people. So I'm a huge believer in coaching. And people started asking me for help, so I kind of started coaching them on all kinds of topics, from health to stress to marriage to business, on everything, because the tools that I teach, they're universally applicable. And the more I start paying attention to who are the clients that are getting the best results from my work, the more I start realizing that I am helping people make more money. I am helping specifically practice owners, either established or new, grow their practices. And so that's when I pivoted more into business coaching. But the reason how I pivoted actually has to do with a short story that I'm going to tell you right now. So back in the beginning of the pandemic, in the middle of the pandemic, here I am with my little coaching business online, which is very different than having a dental practice because everything is online, right? You don't have a brick and mortar physical building. And when you're starting something like an online business, you are a solopreneur, meaning you are the one woman for everything, right? You don't have a team. Every single one of you that started a practice, even if it's a startup, you had somebody. There's no way you can run a dental practice completely alone. Even if you're clinically seeing patients yourself, because it's just one chair and you only have fewer patients, you at least have somebody in the front. I have never heard of a dentist. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but I've never heard in the United States of anybody who would completely run their business on their own. Like, they were in the front desk answering phones. They were doing the stuff in the background. I mean, I guess it's possible. It would look a little strange probably for patients if the doctor was running. I once had a chiropractor appointment where there was one guy for everything, and it felt a little off. It just felt like, just have somebody at least in the front maybe. So I know that you have at least one person. So you're not technically a solopreneur, right? You have a small team, or maybe even a larger team if you're established. But as a business online owner, that was just me. And at the beginning, you don't have a good concept of what you're selling. Unlike dentistry, you know exactly what you're selling. You're selling the dentistry that you are doing. Either it's general, or it's orthodontics, or it's various procedures in periodontics, it's implants, it's biopsies, whatever you do, it's a given. It's what you were trained in. As a coach is different because you can help on so many topics. So I had to really study marketing at its basics. The type of marketing that I haven't heard of a single doctor ever studying. Unless you also have a side gig, that's another online type business where you're a solopreneur, not like you have a restaurant, that's different business model. But unless you have a solopreneur business, you as a doctor never learn the skills that I had to learn as a coach. And I'm going to tell you in a minute how that uniquely positioned me to help with what I help people right now and be so excellent at that. So I had to understand exactly how to market, and not just market, how to stand out, because coaching is what we call a high ticket industry, high ticket offering. So what I mean by that is coaching, either private or in groups, or even if you have a program, it's typically thousands of dollars. And anything above $2,000 is considered, in the world of business marketing, is considered high ticket. So the dentistry that you're selling is high ticket, right? The crowns, the braces, the root canals, they are typically thousands of dollars. So what I was selling as a coach and what you're selling as a doctor and what I'm selling as an orthodontist outside of coaching, we're selling high ticket services, quote unquote expensive services, investments. And what you do is you are in network with insurance, most of you. That's why you're here, because I'm helping you get out of network. But most of you are in network with insurance. And so the type of patients that you're attracting are not a high ticket client. You're attracting people who you're selling payment plans, low down payments. This is your portion of the insurance. That's who you're attracting. Now, in coaching, also high ticket, also expensive, but there's no coaching insurance. There's no insurance plans that I accept as a coach, right? So the type of clients that are coming to me, I can't offer them any of these discounts or the insurance co-payments. So I had to sell high ticket. Imagine it's exactly what's happening with you when you go out of network. You would have to sell $7,000 braces treatment with no insurance. Now, how do you sell that? That's what I had to learn as a coach. I was selling multiple $1,000 coaching packages to people who did not have any insurances, who didn't have any discounts, any payment plans. So how do you do that? How do you have somebody come in and after half an hour happily pay you $10,000? There's a science to it and there's an art to it. It's called the premium buyer psychology. How do people buy expensive things? How do you buy a Chanel bag? How do you have dinner at a Michelin star restaurant? All of you are premium buyers. And there is a term in marketing where they studied people like that, and there are common denominators for how these people make buying decisions. We are not talking about manipulation or trickery, none of this. Premium buyers are smart. You are smart. You're not going to walk in and buy a Chanel bag before you try it, before you know it's a good brand. Like, you're not dumb. But you have the income to invest when you feel like it's a good investment. So how do you create a product that delivers so much value? And how, most importantly, do you communicate it to a potential client, or in your case, to a potential patient, where they see that value instantly, so they buy? That is what I had to learn as a coach. And I got really good at it so that my coaching business became very successful. And then one day, I was starting a new orthodontic associate job, and I thought, maybe I should apply the same principles here. And that office was accepting insurance, but we were thinking to go out of network, but we're still accepting insurance. But some treatments that we're offering were not in network. And I thought, maybe I should do my exams with the patients the same way I do my consults with my coaching patients. Let's see what happens. What a concept. And so I applied the exact same principles that I do with my clients. Again, it has nothing to do with trickery or manipulation. I have clients who are with me for years because they love the type of mentorship I provide for them. People buying over and over again, they're signing up for all the things, not because it's good quality, right? You have to, the quality of your product or services has to be great. Otherwise, people will quickly figure out that you just sold them something. It's not about that, but how many times you see a great investment in front of you, but you're pulling back. Almost all of us, right? We have this innate desire to make responsible financial decisions. That's a great thing. That's why we're smart. That's why we're intelligent. But these very doubts sometimes are stopping us from making investments that are really good for us. And so a great salesperson is somebody who understands that. And only if you as a client are a great fit for what I am selling, then it's my duty to show you that so that you can make the most informed decision. That is the premium buyer psychology that I mastered. And then I went and I applied it to my ortho patients. And as an associate, I started having 90 to 100% conversions. Not even an owner converting like hotcakes. All because I understand how people think. Then I went, and by the way, side note, what I mean by conversions, because everybody talks about it differently, what I mean by conversions is you have a new patient that comes, schedules an exam, you see them, you actually recommend treatment, because there's so many times when I don't recommend treatment. I tell them, you don't need anything. You're too early. I'll see you back in a year. Maybe there's class 3 growth happening. We have to wait. For whatever reason, right? Or maybe they're insisting on one modality and I tell them, no, I'm not comfortable doing Marpi and Invisalign at the same time. Like, how's it going to work? Like, there's no way to prevent diastema from opening. You have to wait the diastema for the diastema to open, and then I'm going to close it for you, right? So like, I don't always recommend treatment. It's not like I'm overselling, and that's why you're here. Neither do you. It's not about lack of integrity. The problem is that you are brilliant at what you do. You are a really good doctor. You only recommend treatment when it's necessary, and then you're losing sleep over your cases because you want perfect, impeccable quality. The problem is that you are not articulating that, neither in your marketing nor in your exam room. And so many patients that your genius could touch and help are leaving your office. And that's why you're in this volume model, because you don't know how to convert and attract those cash-paying premium patients, and so you're stuck with insurance. But I am going to teach you and show you a way into that boutique practice where you will know exactly how to articulate your genius, how to name it and position it as the category of one, because you are. You're just so close to your genius, you don't see it. And I'm your mirror. It's so much easier for me to get on the call with someone and tell them exactly what they need to do, exactly how they need to position themselves in their social media, in their ads, in their in-person events, so they can stand instantly speaking and attracting those cash-paying patients. So back to my story. So that's what I started doing in the orthodontics. And sure enough, how many? 3 months, 4 months later, we went out of insurance or out of network completely. Became completely fee-for-service. Practice was accepting insurance for 5 years before I joined it. I joined it 4 months later, completely out of network. And then I started teaching these same principles to my coaching clients. that own dental practices. And I started helping them reposition themselves and communicate it in the marketing. And people started having insane results. 100% conversions, week after week after week. 2 times, 3 times their income. People started doubling their fees right and left and center. And patients still saying yes. Because I taught them that premium buyer psychology. And I helped them with their marketing, because when it comes to marketing, what marketing specifically, not just marketing is a broad term. Marketing to a cash paying patient, also known as a premium buyer. It's the same thing in coaching, premium buyers, same thing for Chanel, premium buyers. Somebody who is willing and excited to invest thousands of dollars in the services that you provide. That person for you is a premium buyer. And marketing to that person is completely different than marketing to somebody who has a dental insurance. And I had to learn all of these frameworks, then apply them to my coaching business. And now I teach it to clients. Things like you have to make your audience problem aware and solution aware. Not just share your selfies from the conference that you attended, or somebody had a birthday, or just like before and after. But you have to make your audience problem aware. You have to make them solution aware. You have to show specific examples, like specificity is key. You have to position yourself as an authority, not just show here a before and after. But your client has to see themselves. They have to feel seen and heard by you and feel like you are the only solution to their problem. You're not of many. You're very unique. I teach my clients in private containers how to position your marketing in a very short period of time, but you have to show unique insights, your unique insights on the commonly talked topics in the industry that will instantly position you as an authority. So there are several of these frameworks that I had to master in order to be able to sell hundreds of thousands of coaching services. And then I applied it to orthodontics, and we went out of network in 4 months. And then I taught it to my clients, and they started doing the same thing. And that's when I rebranded into the 8-figure dentist. And that's what makes me the authority in this area. That's how I am uniquely qualified to help you create the same. Because I don't just think like a doctor, although I am one, and so I understand exactly what's going on through your head. But because I learned and applied successfully the marketing and the psychology of a cash-paying client, of a premium client, and not only for myself, I did this for other people. If you listen to my secret podcast, there's an entire episode dedicated to testimonials from people and the incredible results that they're receiving. All over my Instagram and Facebook, there are testimonials. It's one thing if something is working for me, go and teach it to other people and make sure that they're getting results. Now I know you can help me. But you see people over and over and over again getting these insane results. So that is how I got into the 8-figure dentist company. And that's what makes me uniquely qualified to teach that. All right. I hope you enjoyed that little storytelling as much as I did. And I will see you on the next episode. And if you are interested to learn more, currently the enrollment in my 30-day accelerator called the 8-figure practice, where I'm going to teach you all these principles that I just mentioned about marketing and positioning yourself, and how do you actually attract those K-PASH patients fast so that you can start going out of network. If you're interested how to do it in only 30 days, I have an accelerator that I'm currently enrolling. I'm going to leave links in the show notes below so you can read about that. And I would love to have you there. All right. Have a great week. I'll talk to you later. Bye.